Hey guys, it's a stormy day today in the Ozarks, and by the time I edit and upload this, it probably won't be anymore, but I'm trying to work ahead, as you know. So now that we've gone over some terms, let's switch back over to herbs for a little bit to kind of drive home what these terms are. And so today we're going to switch back over to Oat Plant, right? And that's what this is here. Right? And so when most people think about oats, they think about breakfast, right? Like oatmeal, granola, cookies, right? But herbalists look at this same plant and see something completely different depending on when they harvest it. So the oat plant can be and become 4 different preparations, and each one has its own place in herbalism, right? And they kind of do, I mean, they all are in a nervine family, but they all kind of do different things. So let's talk through the oat plant and how we can, use each stage, right? So right now, this oat plant is what you call in its vegetative state, right? It's green, it's bushy, it's growing vigorously. She's got some bug in her right now. The frogs like to hide in it too. It hasn't produced a seed head yet. And it's actually great, right? It's a great opportunity because you can kind of see it in its beginning states. It sprouts very fast. But this oat plant is called Avena Sativa. Now you're seeing where that Aveno comes from, right? It's one of the most widely grown grains in the world. This one is organic and non-GMO. But it also happens to be a classic nourishing nervine. This plant is. I like to pop the little seed heads up. So oats are a wonderful example because different parts of the plant are used at different times. So, if some herbs, like once you close that window, you closed it. But this one, if you miss an opportunity, there's always another opportunity later, which I kind of like in a busy world where we forget things. So the first one, right, everybody knows oatmeal. And some people love it, some people hate it, but it's that mature seed, the grain, and the food of the plant. So when the plant completes its life cycle and the seeds fully mature, those seeds can be harvested and processed into oatmeal. Now, most people never think of oatmeal as herbal medicine, but if you actually read into the studies and the benefits of good oats in your body, you can see that it actually can affect cholesterol levels and other stuff. And remember, food and herbs used to not be so far apart. They sat very intertwined in, early herbalism and life. People really thought about how they nourished their body. Second preparation is Milky oats. This one for me is the one I'm super excited about this year. So that is so there's a very brief stage in this life of this plant when those immature seed heads will pop off. And they can be squeezed and this milky substance will appear. That stage only lasts for a very short time. And if you miss it, you miss it. You got to wait until next year. So many herbalists harvest those immature seed heads and immediately tincture them fresh, right? When I get into that and I have that available, we'll do that video and I'll tell you more about that then. When people talk about Milky oats, they're usually talking about a nourishing nervine, right? So we're driving back to that nervine video. Then we also have Oatstraw. Once the plant continues to mature, the stems and the leaves become what herbalists call Oatstraw. You probably see this in a lot of teas. This is usually harvested after the seed heads develop. Oatstraw is commonly used for long-term infusions and mineral-rich herbal preparations. This, again, is why you see it in teas. It's one of those herbs that when you think about in terms of nourishment instead of immediate results, right? So again, you're looking at that long time nourishing effect. The fourth preparation surprises very many people. This is called oat tops. And this is the immature tops themselves are sometimes harvested and used before the seed fully matures. Different herbalists draw the lines a little differently between green oat tops and milky tops. It really depends on your subject and your books and what the herbalist thinks. So that can kind of be a gray area. This is one reason oats are such a fascinating plant. It's one species, multiple harvest windows. There was a big crack of lightning over there. And there's multiple preparations. So what makes oats unique? Most medicinal plants are harvested once, right? And maybe you're using the flower, or maybe you use the root, or maybe it's just the leaf, right, that you use from that plant. But with oats, the plant changes as it grows, and if you pay attention to those changes, that same plant can provide food, a tincture, nourishing infusions, and herbal preparations depending on when you choose to harvest it, what exactly you're looking for, right? So that also makes oats a wonderful plant for teaching herbalism, right? Because you get so much bang for your buck, and you also remember that timing matters, right? So when that window closes, maybe we can't make a Milky Oats tincture anymore, but we still have an opportunity to gather something later to make a different tincture. So understanding the plant's life cycle, right, can actually help us make sure that we hit the timing of what we want to use the herb for. So again, if you followed the nervine video, oats are one of the best examples of what herbalists call that nourishing nervine. Not because they're dramatic, right? Not because they're trendy, which they might become one day. We all know how the buzzwords go. But because herbalists have valued them for generations as a plant that supports your body over time, right? So again, it's kind of one of those, we're just going to kind of nourish for a while. So if you're going to remember something from today's video, when you look at an oat plant, you're not just looking at oatmeal, right? So this is not just a one-time use. You're looking at a plant that can become Milky Oats, oat tops, oat straws, and eventually food, depending on what you're growing it for, right? If you have a big space, you can get all of it out of it. And that, to me, is one of the reasons why oats is such a fascinating herb to study. So, I'd like to know, right? Did you realize that oat plant could be used so many different ways? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, right? Did you know that your breakfast cereal could actually be made into a tincture depending on when you gathered it? So, I appreciate you guys coming by and watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed all the other stuff that I've put out. And again, we're going to get back into the herbs a little bit to drive home what we've been talking about in those herbal terms. And then we're going to switch back over to some more herbal terms, so that way we can kind of link things together a little bit more. But until next time, guys, remember, all plants are edible. Some are only edible once. That's the truth of the matter. So, hope y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.